good morning or good afternoon, depending if you are over in England or if you're over here in the States or if you're somewhere else in the world. It's great to have you here. My name is Ryan Selvey, and we are very excited to have Holly Rosestones back on this show today. Hi, Holly. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I love streaming with you. This is like our third or
Yeah,
fourth
me
stream
too.
together.
Yeah, it is.
Um, and but for people who have not maybe caught the previous streams or replays, can you give a quick rundown of yourself as I guess as an artist and as a person? Like, what do you like to
Yeah.
work on?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have done many a live streams, so if you're rewatching me, I've probably gone over this a few times. But I'm a self-portrait conceptual artist that creates sets and builds dream worlds, I suppose, in my studio. I make all props from like by hand. I've got a color project which I'm currently working on, which I've done quite a few colors of the rainbow. I'm currently working on purple. So I do all the document behind the scenes and everything on my Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. But yeah, I pretty much just spend all my time in the studio creating sets and working with lots of different materials and things like that. And then I shoot it, edit it, and yeah, so here's all um the color projects that I've been working on. So just finished Red, which I actually streamed live with you. I think we talked about Harmonize or something last
Mm-hmm.
time. So that was that project, and
It's
here's
giving
the
Dippin'
others.
Dots to me.
Yes, yeah,
I
and
see.
we weren't sure if it was blood or food. This one's surrounded obviously around food, but so that one was to do with like the garden project. This one, so it's all chapters of my life essentially that I've been documented over the past few years. This one was actually, well, it started in 2021, and then yeah, 2022 I did those ones. 23 blue, that's a giant foam which I created from scratch. Still got it.
That's so fun.
Don't know how to like keep it anywhere. It just sort of stays in a shed, and I'm like, oh, I'm sure I'm going to use this one day again. But I
Next time you
also
need a
shoot.
gigantic phone.
I do have people asking me if to rent it out, so maybe that's something that I'll do
Oh, that could definitely
eventually.
be a big old prop or
Yeah, but
something.
like I said, oh, my earring just fell out. One of my goals in sort of this project towards the end of it is to do like a big exhibition of some sort. So I'm kind of keeping all the props so that I can like use them in that. But yeah, I also shoot different things. So like it's mainly self-portraits, but kind of just experimenting in the studio, a lot of different, and I use a bit of AI, but mainly it's all to do with like nature and floral. So I actually grow my own like flowers and things like that. So
Yeah, working
today,
with practical effects, bringing in
yeah,
something of you're actually photographing as the base and as the structure
yes,
to it, and then maybe you'll bring things like
yeah,
harmonize around or something else to
yeah.
uh,
And I do add
touch up the
like little
picture.
things in. So I'm in here actually, you can see that this little spider is actually a little AI addition, generative
Oh,
AI.
because yeah, you don't want to do
Um,
that. You don't have an actual
no,
spider on your head.
no. So AI helps me fulfill, well, I don't know if it's a dream to have a spider on my head, but fulfills a fear that I would have
A dream. And if
had.
you can make dreams come true.
Yeah.
I remember a long time
So
ago they used to say that like, did you know that everyone eats like six spiders in their lifetime? And
yeah, that is
that's
something
just an
I've
urban
always thought
legend.
about as a
But
kid. Although I've never been that scared of spiders. It's not something that I'm
mm,
like, I wouldn't want to touch them, but yeah.
right,
So yeah,
that's
I've
insane.
been working on. I mean, today we're going to go through it. In fact, I'll just click
Yeah, what
to
are we working on
my.
today? I know you mentioned something
So
with the purple.
yeah,
Um,
so the purple project is what I'm working on. But within this purple project, I've been like doing a lot of different studies. And I'll just zoom in actually here. So this is one that I did recently, just to see what the purple meant to me because I was doing.
mhm.
The whole project is about I'm creating like a pipe structure. It'll make more sense when I go along on this board. But I wanted to feel how I felt using purple, and it's such a different. I feel like purple is my least favorite color. I feel like it's one of. I think purple is the least favorite color. Like I'm not sure if that's
Oh,
a
really? Okay.
universal thing, but I've heard that recently is that it's not usually
Well, I know
adopted by
it's
people.
got associations with royalty. It's got
Yeah. Yes.
associations with some health. I feel like, right? Like I feel
Yeah.
like also war. I guess with maybe
Yeah.
Purple Heart or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, so this
Um,
is what I'm doing sort of during this project is finding out what colours mean to others and to myself. So I wanted to like just test around. So I did this couple of like studies a few weeks ago, and then I decided to have a little bit of a play with another. In fact, I'll just go to it so you can see it with a triptych. And the idea came from or was based around sort of like thoughts and overflowing and feeling like a bit too bogged down with thoughts and things like that. So I wanted to make it into a triptych. But I'm going to go back to the start because I do really want to talk to you about and everyone about how I've sort of come up with this idea. And then we're going to go into how I've used rotate object, which I really can't wait to show because I've been doing some like titivating the sort of old images with the rotate objects just to see what different vibes I've been using.
Yeah.
Sorry, what it would do to the image. So I'm going to go on to that a bit later, and then we're also going to talk about layer cleanup, which I've been loving, which is amazing. A nice new tool in Photoshop which helps me be organized. Speaking of organization, this I'm going to be honest, I am an artist and a creative, and I'm sure people out there will also relate to this somewhat. I like to be organized, but I like to be organized sort of after the fact. So I can, with Firefly boards, I feel like I just dump everything. So this board is actually one that I made after I'd completed the whole thing because I wanted to show you how I've come up with this idea in a more coherent and cohesive way. Because I'm going to just switch to the other board just very
Okay.
quickly. This is
And see
and
the
just show
craziness of it
you
all.
it's just mad. I'm not going to go too far up because there's a little bit of like some things that I don't want to show. But
Right.
yeah, so this is kind of the board which I was working on. Very basic. I wanted some colors there. This is like a little bit of a setup of my ideas and everything. But I basically have just copied and pasted all of this onto the board just to show you how my brain worked through this because I don't think this really makes sense to people.
Well, we see some
So
people in the chat, like Voodoo Guy, saying, I really need to learn how to use these boards. Yeah, the on-ramp board's pretty easy, and there really is no wrong way to do it. It's kind of one of those things, just the more you play around with it, the more features
yeah,
you can find out.
and I think
Um,
now, yeah, I think now I've done this board, this specific one. I mean, I've done loads of different boards, but for this, I feel like I now can copy and paste this board for
yeah.
my next work and like how I actually want to organize myself. But
Oh, like
I
you've
tend
built
to
out like
just
a kind of
yeah,
like,
like a sort of a template, if you want to call it, sort of
yeah,
like a something that I can copy and paste every time.
that's fine.
So yeah, I been working obviously on this triptych, and I just want to go through this board very quickly before I move on to the rotate object because I've been really obsessed with Firefly boards. Obviously, I just dump everything on there. It's like a brain dump, and it just makes me feel so much like clearer in my brain so that I can think about other things, and I can just like flick back and forth. So for this template and what I'm going to be using in the future, I decided to do some colours, which obviously I did on the other board, but I just wanted the colours of how this shoot will come out and maybe some different purples because I'm playing around with the idea of different purples at the moment and what
Hmm.
the end result is going to look for the actual colour, the purple project, sorry. Um, so anyway, this is how I came up with my idea. I did have some keywords just to keep my brain functioning when I was coming up with the ideas. And I do like and still love to draw everything out on paper. That is just something that I'll always do it. I think it's just, my hand is connected to my brain. I just feel like I need to like get it out. Um, so yeah, I've drawn like a very, very basic, I mean, squiggly line ideas of what I wanted to do. And this originally wasn't going to be a self-portrait. It was actually just going to be the like the jug and the pipes and then the water. And I was playing around with the thought of flow and like connection between the flow. And I also wanted it to go uphill just to make, I don't know, the contrast of that made me feel like I needed to like, yeah, it all makes sense as I talk about it. Um, but yeah, so this is sort of like I think these two actually, there were just some AI images that I created because I wanted to show the flow of water. But then I was
Yeah.
thinking, do I want some droplets instead? So these are my props that I had. Um, and these are actually what I've done in the studio. I've painted loads of different, if anyone's been following me, I've been painting some pipe and fixings. I got loads of different fixings and I'm going to be basically making a sculpture like this, very similar to this, where
So
I will
wait,
be
I to that point, I actually am
yeah,
looking at this that I looked up some facts about purple, and so
yeah, oh good.
I'll splice them in as we're like working through and going through stuff. But I think this is a really good point to actually call this out. The in the ancient world, it says that purple dye actually came from sea snails, and it took something from
Right.
10,000 to 12,000 snails to produce a single gram of the dye. So that's why purple was so
It's
expensive.
so expensive,
Um,
yeah.
and it was worth
Ah.
more than its weight in gold
Which
at points,
is
apparently.
quite actually apt because at the moment this project is about I'm sort of like exploring the use of AI and practical craftsmanship within my work at the moment because obviously I create a lot of my props in the studio. So if I just go back to quickly to the color project, um, as you can imagine, these sets cost quite a lot of money. So
Yeah,
that actually is quite apt for this project because I'm thinking, how will AI either save me money or potentially save me time on certain things that I don't need to? So there's quite maybe
because
like a
time is money
juxtaposition of
as
that.
well.
Yeah. Um, but I also know the soul of creating craft. There's a lot of soul in it. So, and I feel like it's my soul, my therapy. So I feel like
Of course.
that's what I'm having. The Purple Project is a really about my journey and thoughts on like how I'm using AI versus craft, like the
But I think you
actual crafting.
also have the part of it is being able to just have the not the gumption, but the control and
Yes,
the power to be able to pick on the things that you want to. So like some things do take a long time and
exactly.
creativity
Yeah,
can come from that fun long
yeah,
time. But there's other things that you do that are so meticulous and you're like, I know nothing good will come of this. Like it's not meditative
yes,
for me.
yeah,
I'm just going to be
yeah.
cranky.
I agree. Yeah,
Um, and being able to be
yeah.
able to choose that, I think is really
Yes. So
empowering.
with this, the Purple Project in the end, I already know it's going to take a lot of energy. And
Yeah.
I try and like we were actually just saying before, like I like to balance a lot of like energy, like work-life balance. So I have been doing like these images here with this purple sort of, I actually drew it out somewhere, I think on the other one. Let me just go quickly back to this one. Um, don't want to go too far up because there's some stuff that, yes, I drew
I
out
can also
how
take
I,
your screen off screen if you want
that's all
to
right. No, that's
explore
fine.
more.
It's
Okay.
just a little bit further up. So
Yeah.
I actually drew this as I wanted the pipes to look in the end image, just as like a right, how am I going to connect loads of actual pipes together in a
Right.
way and also suspend them from the ceiling? How heavy is it going to be? Like creating a set is all about problem solving and decision making. So when I was actually putting this together in my head and like or out onto paper, I was like, right, this is what I'm going to do. But I also thought, right, I'm just going to put it through AI and just see what it looks like because I think then I can titivate it or like that actually that pipe won't go there. I feel like this pipe might go here, and it'll give me those decisions. Like here, I sort of played around with different um, elements, like which like what lighting, how am I going to light this, what color the pipes are going to be, are they going to be matte, are they going to be glossy, like all this kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
you also
I'm
just said a
using
really good SAT word, by the way. You said
what's that?
titivate, which I've
Titivate.
never used that. It's a verb that means to make someone or something neater, smarter, or more attractive. So yeah, make sure you
Ah,
guys use that.
yes. Titivate. I
Titivate.
didn't know if that was a. Love that.
I've
But
never
anyway,
used that before. Maybe I'm dumb. Yeah, I am dumb, but
no,
like
I feel like to be
to a point.
fair, that might is it more of an English word? I don't know.
It
UK
very might
word.
well might be. Also, I have a poll in the chat for everybody else. It's not
Yes.
about Titivate, don't worry. But it is, how do you feel about the color purple? Between hate, indifferent, like, and love. Right now, 57% of people like the color purple, 29% say they like it, and 14% say indifferent. So make sure you guys vote on
Oh,
that. I'll keep it up for a little bit. But yeah,
yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, that this is it. I think it's interesting to see what people's reactions to different colours are, which will make sense actually as I go through this. So I'll go just quickly through what I had. So I was looking at the composition. So I drew out a quick picture, obviously,
the
very
clear is cool.
basic. Yeah, and then I think I did a prompt and used Gemini and just said, can you make this realistic? Essentially,
Wait,
I'm very
can we
basic with
double click on
prompts.
that real quick? Not literally
Yeah.
double click, but just the idea. I hate that I just used double click. But
How do
um,
I? Wait.
so going back to it, you hovered over the image in the top right. It gives you
Yes.
an understanding to be able to backtrack and gives you the content credentials, which are from Adobe. It tells you what the
Yes.
source is and AI info,
Yeah.
so that you can always go through.
Which is very handy because when I'm creating like the images, the AI like visions, it's nice to know if it's Gemini or Firefly. I mean, I use a bit mixture of both to be honest, but it's just nice to know
Yep.
which one I've used for a certain image.
And you can do all of those different models within Firefly
Yeah.
Boards, so it's not like you have to hop into different places and bring it back and
Yes.
only use
Yeah.
Firefly.
In fact, you
Even though it's
can
called
load.
Firefly
Yeah.
Boards, you can do different stuff.
So I literally just put create this into a hyper-realistic photograph set in the studio setting with studio lighting. Very basic. I was just like, quick, just want to see this, what this looks like. So you
Yeah.
can load the prompt here. So if you just go up to load. Also, I noticed that when I was, because I think if you go on this image, you can see like it even kept like the arrows in, and I was like, oh,
Hmm.
interesting. But
Yeah, it really did. You're right. Like it has the
yeah, the
they
arrows.
put
This is
them
the way
on
you should go
the
in.
thing on it, but that's
Yeah,
fun.
exactly.
Um,
So anyway, I was like, right. I got to the point of this. I was like, right. I need to um, sort of. I think I need to be in this image. I feel like it would be better if I'm in this first image, and then the rest are not me. So I
okay.
was like, right, I obviously have used, I literally, all I did was copy and paste this picture. And this is what I love about Firefly Boards as well, is that you just can remove the background. And this is what I did with this one here. Um, oh, yeah. So, and then I literally just put it underneath just to give me an idea that I'm going to be in this image. This is the color purple. It's very basic, but this is the kind of like triptych that I want to make. I want to make it so that
Yep.
the fixing is facing down, there's water coming out, or droplets. Then the next one is this, and like how I would actually fit it all together.
Yep.
And I knew the lighting because this is the lighting setup here that I actually used for these, and I knew I wanted it to look like this tone, and
Yep.
these ones which I use also shot in the very similar way with that lighting setup, which is just up here. So it's
Now, you are
basically,
the client for yourself right now because this is your
yeah,
personal project that you have with
yes,
the colors. But I think
yeah,
this is a really good use case too because you can share these boards. You're able
yes,
to create this experience where you could share this with a client to
I
give them a
could,
quick
yeah,
rundown of like
yeah,
how you're going to set things up and how you're going to
yeah,
move it around. And you're
yeah,
doing this all for
exactly. I
yourself,
think,
but
yes,
also great for
yeah,
others.
yeah, exactly. And I think, yeah, when people can visualize it a bit more, it's just a lot easier for everyone to get on board.
Yeah.
You can actually collaborate on boards as well, so they could like change things around.
Hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, the background purple, obviously, I'm in the shot. The main light is the lantern, and then obviously I shoot with a Sony. So I just labeled that just for
Yeah,
the
Sony
purpose of this
A7,
live
right?
stream. Yes, A7
Yeah,
four.
and
Yeah, I love it.
you really like your. I remember we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, I do love a Sony. So anyway, this is my favorite part. This is what I need to tell everyone. So when I was shooting, and I'll just show this video very, very briefly. I mean, it'll play over and over. So this is me shooting the actual well, in the studio with the elements. And when I was shooting, I shoot tethered. So I've got my laptop on the table and I've got the tether cable connected to the camera, as you do with a self-portrait. And what I did was essentially after every shot, I brought like the so let's say I shot the jug, I brought the jug in and I thought, right, I literally just screenshotted the picture as it came up in my software that I use, and I
Uh-huh.
just put it in, and then I just removed the background so that I could essentially. So I took a picture of the background. I got the picture of me, so I'll just move that one out of the way. Got an example picture. I was like, right, that is the one that I'm going to use, or potential. That's the subject and the composition that I like. So
Yeah.
I removed the background of it, put it on top of the picture of the pipe coming in.
And when you're removing the
And
background, are you just using the remove background
literally
feature
just
in
remove, yeah. So if
Firefly
I zoom
Boards?
into that one, just ignore my face on all these. I'm like, "Ugh, is this right?
It's like when I used
So
to stream me drawing on stream, and I'd be real close up to the camera and be like, just ignore the face, ignore the
yeah.
face.
So hang on, yeah. So that is so I literally just clicked remove background as I was shooting. So screenshotted it, brought it straight in. I don't even think I even went up to the desktop at this point. I was like, right, just move it from the Mac straight to the Firefly boards, uploaded it, and then I went through and I was like, right, I need this particular shape of pipe.
Hmm.
And bearing in mind, I was actually looking at all of this, so all of this whilst I was shooting. So I had everything in mind,
Yeah.
which made it so helpful.
It's fun that you're
Um,
going back and forth to a digital
yeah,
space of kind of iterating, but then also literally bring the physical space back into the digital space rather than just
exactly. There's a
sketches,
lot
but
of
actual
layers to,
photography.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I like that's why I like to because I love, the craftsmanship of using props and then
Yeah.
shooting it digitally, bringing it in digitally. But it's just going back and forth. I really enjoy that. part of
We
this.
also have Dino Rex in the chat. He is a community regular, and he's saying, "I really like the purple gradients, yeah, or just purple gradients in general. What
Yeah.
I love about your color project is that your backgrounds aren't flat, in a way that like
Yes.
there was this flat look that was really popular in the early 2010s with the really
Yeah.
really bright, or maybe even like the late 2000s with the iPod
Yeah.
commercials. But we've gotten to a point where now like we understand that there is shading and volume
Texture.
and
Yeah.
texture to
And
that,
it
and it looks
came
really
actually
pretty.
quite accidentally because if I go back to the original purple project, so I originally painted this backdrop, sorry, the green project, the original one. I painted it with a roller and literally just some green paint. And after I was like, oh, like I am really enjoying that texture. That's the kind of like backdrop that I want. Because I was going to go over it again and do another layer, and I was like, no, I think I'll just keep it at that. And then that was set the precedent for the rest of the shoot
So when
and
I
the,
paint my
the
apartment, that's what it looks like when I'm trying to make it look flat.
yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, this is not going on. This painting must not be very good because it's going on very like, well, it was because it was a white backdrop. Obviously, I just paper
Yeah.
backdrop and I literally just painted it on. It's obviously very thin, the paint, but it
But
worked. I enjoyed it.
but it looks great, and it was a happy accident then. And I think when we were talking about the idea of having process and being able to, delegate some things to AI, and also then still
Yeah,
be able to, you know,
make
explore
decisions
and make
based on
decisions.
physical things as well.
I love that you're using props. I love that you're using yourself. I love that you're doing this back and forth because then you still have those happy accidents that then turn
Yes,
into
yeah,
really strong points
yeah.
of your piece.
I think that's it. Like I mean, there's a lot of discourse online about how AI is, doing certain things for the creative industry. But for me, I'm using it as a tool to
Because there's many
enable
different ways to
my
use it, right?
ideas. Yeah, there's
And I think
so
that's
many
where the
different
discourse
ways.
comes from.
Yeah, and
Um,
people are, worried in certain ways. And I've there's some amazing AI artists, and I'm like, I appreciate the work so much because so much effort goes into it. It's not just a prompt and you click it. It
right.
takes hours. It takes hours to create certain things like even like 10-second videos. It's just like actually
But I
mad.
just, yeah, I love the
Yeah.
process and the way that you're doing it a lot. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, there's many different ways to do it, and a lot of it takes
Exactly.
time. But your way in particular is really
Yeah,
empowering and
I
exciting for
think
me. Like
that's
it
how
makes me feel good.
yeah, I felt like I needed to make it exciting for me. I didn't want to like be scared of it. I just was like, right, I need to make this. How can I use it for me? How I'm going to feel comfortable, and this is how I feel comfortable using it.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I'm going to zoom through this because I really want to get onto rotate object,
of course, of
but
course.
it will make sense at the end. Why I'm yeah. So obviously I shot it all, shot all the different compositions and like even brought some in that I was like, yeah, I like that one. So then when I was editing it, I could literally come back to this board and go, right, it's that image, and then it's that one, and that one will fit together, and that's the pipe that I need to use, and this is the jug that I need to use, etc., etc. So anyway, I was actually going to use just literally just the droplets because I'd created some droplets with different card types. But when I'd shot them, this black one is actually like a real shimmery purple one, and it didn't come out the way that I wanted
Oh,
it
it just
to.
didn't
So
capture.
yeah, it was quite hard to capture it. That's why I put it onto purple because I was like trying to capture these little droplets, and I was like, it's just not
Hmm.
working. So again, I wouldn't have known that if I'd not brought it into this board and gone, that doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
but I knew that obviously when I brought it into the editing, I'd have to play around with it. So yeah, anyway, the triptych. So this is obviously just a little bit of editing. I did add in all of the
Little bloopy
paint.
glops.
Yes, but this obviously, like I was just saying, I was gonna just do the drops in. So I actually went through every drop individually after I'd edited these other drops on,
Yeah.
and made them look like actual drops, I suppose, of the purple paint. Then I was like, it
Right.
wouldn't be realistic if there wasn't like a bit of an overflow. So I did the little overflow here. And then I was like, actually, I think it'd be quite nice for the concept of this was to do with like overflow of thoughts and that kind of thing. So I was like, I want it to look like it's bursting the pipes, but I
Yeah.
also went uphill, I suppose, with the pipe because I was like, I don't want to go the other way because obviously the
Hmm.
composition was this. So I was like, I want it to look like there's a lot of pressure.
Yep.
So I was like, that's why. Then I added in some the blue paint here, and then I was like, actually, we need to do it on this because I was actually going to leave the little droplets on my head,
Yeah.
but I thought no. So it was all a bit of a like a concept that went through loads of different iterations and processes as I was going through it.
Sure.
So yeah, this was the final. I actually edited it in one big long image. So it was just a big, and then I cut it up because I thought that was going to be a bit better for the background to make it more coherent. Um, so yeah, cut it
No,
up.
that's great.
Then,
Real quick, we are about approaching our halfway point. So if anyone's
yeah,
joining us right now, about halfway through, we're very excited to be joined by Holly Rose Stones. She is walking us through her color project and one of the most recent ones that she's starting to work on for purple. And it is working in both Firefly boards. We're going to be looking at the rotate object in
yes.
just a little bit. She uses a lot of practical effects as well as photography mixed with being able to bring things into Firefly boards. If there's anyone here that's never joined a stream before, make sure you say hello. We'd love to say hi. If you have any questions, there are no dumb questions. As long as they're respectful, we love to acknowledge all skill levels. So please don't be shy. Also, hello to Jack who has joined us. And make sure you vote in our poll. We have a poll going about how you feel about the color purple, whether you hate it, you're indifferent, you like it, or you love it. Right now, it looks like the majority is love with 46%, but we'll keep that up for a little bit longer as we continue to
Yeah.
work through this. Yeah, thank you guys for being here.
Thank
I'll
you
go
for
back to
being
your
here.
screen though. I see you have
Yeah.
a little animation going on here, which
Yes.
is
So I
fun.
did this obviously within Adobe Firefly. You can do it directly in the boards, but I actually opened up the Firefly like the website. So it was just so I was just playing around within the actual interface. But yeah, I did a little bit. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna make it animated. And I had a bit of fun with it and I loved the outcome. So I'll just quickly go on to what I was just talking about earlier about the like using AI to like visualize future of things. And
Hmm.
I feel like so I went through it and I was like, I can imagine these on massive billboards in the middle of a field or like a middle of like somewhere public. Originally I did like a public gallery and I was like, no, it just don't feel right. I just want it to be in like
Play with
nature.
scale, big,
Yeah, I just want it
large, out there.
huge. Yeah. So I actually used a few prompts, and I did go a bit more in depth with these prompts and just created some different ideas of what I could show it as. Um, but yeah, then I loved like the more like cinematic, and I was like, oh, this would be
Hmm.
amazing with loads of smoke in the middle and like loads of pipes coming out of it in the
At
oh,
Burning
what was
Man
it
or,
called?
or Coachella,
Yeah,
like
yeah. And I
giving
was just in
very
like on the side of a cliff here. I was like, wow,
yeah,
that is amazing. And I was like that, and it got me excited. I was like, I just want to make this massive. But
yeah.
that's for future thinking.
But it's cool
But
because
yeah,
we're working with a triptych. I had put the definition in the chat for anyone
yes,
who's unfamiliar with the word triptych. Like I said, all skill levels are welcome. But it's cool that you're working in vertical composition because not only I know we're talking about scale, but also being able to then make this a carousel if we want to on Instagram or something. It's kind of
yes,
cool that you're then
yeah,
able to work with that vertical format.
yeah. That's kind of what I was looking at, how to make it into a carousel. And then I
Mhm.
was like, actually it would look good on a board. It's quite versatile the way that I love using it, like doing triptychs. I just think it's so fun that you just swipe through or like you can
Interactive.
see them. There's so many, like there's so much to look at in each one. But
It
yeah, so let's go down
also
to, oh sorry,
one
go
last
for
thing,
it.
I promise. I keep cutting you off. The other
That's
thing
all
I love
right.
about triptychs, though, is the idea that it really forces the viewer to absorb and definitely consider each part of it. Because if it's just one big
Yes.
composition, you might focus on one part and be like, "This is the point of this painting," or "This is the point of this
Yes.
photography." Whereas when it's
Yeah.
three, it's like I have to at least come up with one subject for all three of these, and gives you three focal points. So
Exactly.
it's
That's
also a cool
yeah.
way.
That is such a good point. I actually thought like if I zoom into this one, this is sort of it's a nothing image if you like. But then I was like, do you know what would make it something to focus on it and give more concept to it is the little paint dropping out to show that it looks like it's about to burst. Otherwise, if
Right.
I'd not done that, it would just be a pipe, which is
But
fine. But I wanted people to feel something as they were like going through this.
as an
Um,
artist, it even gives you an idea to then be like, how can I
yeah,
even think more through my process and my composition? We have
exactly.
Kane from
Yeah.
Behance saying good morning, and Dinah remembers you from a previous stream working with red colors with the giant fork.
Yes.
He says that he loves the props; they always look way too good.
Ah,
Which
thank
yes, I love that you use
you.
props.
Yeah.
So
But right, now we're halfway through. Let's get up onto the rotate object. So this is obviously the final triptych, and I was like, what would I do if I was experimenting, or if let's say a client was like, no, we need that specific pipe to be a bit further back, or sometimes clients ask for things that like you're like, oh no, I can't do that now because I need to
you're too
re-edit the whole
late.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to just have a play around. And this was more of an experiment. And this is what I love about like creating is that I always go into everything that I'm doing with like experimental eyes. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if it doesn't turn out right. It's just
Hmm.
how can I use, especially with like Photoshop, how can I use this tool and how far can I push this tool?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go into Photoshop now and just show you how I actually did this with rotate object.
And we're
So,
in Photoshop
I
2026, everyone, by the way. This is the
yes,
public build that is out right now. You can download it right
yes.
through the Creative Cloud.
So yeah. So what I did, if I just pretty much just went onto here, selected subject, the whole subject, um, and then I
Oh,
just
I
got
forgot you
rid
put
of
your
this.
tools on the right. So if you guys
Yep,
are
I do.
wondering, your toolbar is on the right here. There's just everything that's on your left, but you're
Yeah.
using what here? You're just using the lasso tool here to kind of
Yeah,
clean up what
literally
you have
just
already
so
selected.
rough. Yeah, such a rough thing. I did go in and just like get rid of just my hair because obviously I just want this gloopy paint and the pipe. Oops, the other way around. I should have done that
And do
one.
you have a mouse or are you using a
Minus.
tablet?
I'm using a tablet, so I've got a
A tablet. Okay.
Wacom
Yep.
little pen. Um, and yeah, so literally just copied and pasted that, and then I'll just click off that because then I pretty much just got rid of that. I used the remove tool, remove the whole thing, um, and then hang on, let me just go into that one. Sorry, if I just get rid of that first. So use remove tool, got rid of the whole thing, just generative filled some, patch tooled it, just to see what it would look like. Again, we're experimenting at this stage. So then I used, if I go onto this thing, so what you do is you go to edit and rotate object, and it'll take a little while just to like collaborate, preparing.
And
Um,
then as that's kind of creating it to then create a
to
model of it that you'll be
rotate,
able to turn
yeah,
around. It will show it to us guys as a lower resolution, which is not
yes,
the final output. It's just as it's kind of previewing things.
yeah. So as you can see, it's gone a little bit like you can see the white edges and everything. So you've got on this side, you've got rotate and tilt. So rotate and tilt. So you can rotate it forward or backwards. And I think this is very quick to say it's run. I know it's
Hmm.
like a low res preview, but I feel like that is very quick.
Yep.
But you can see it sort of fills in the image.
Yep.
So
It's going
it
around
sort
this.
of
You can see that the curvature of your head is there. Like as you're looking
yes,
underneath of it, it's like yes, this has to
still
go over
there.
a thing and go. It's not just
Yeah.
a flat like blob to the left, which is fun to see.
Exactly. And then if I just do this, it
It's
will
so
rotate.
goofy.
And I love that it fills in, hang on, let me just point to it there, like it fills in the hole, like it knows that it's a pipe.
Yes, it's
So
not just a flat
yeah.
cylinder.
So obviously, like I was saying a minute ago about if your client was like, nah, we need it to go backwards or like forwards or it shouldn't come from the side or whatever. Um, I'm just using this image as an example, but I have got a couple more that I'm going to show you in a minute. And all you have to do is, so if I, and the perspective is here actually, so literally just drag up or down and it will go back and forth. But if I do that, it'll actually be better. So it changes the
Ooh,
perspective.
whoa. Okay, so what just happened there? So that was perspective
Yeah,
slider that
so
we had
that
on the right.
yeah, so the
Um,
tilt sorry, the rotate needs to be a bit forward because obviously the perspective is it's changing the perspective that way. So it's
mhm.
going backwards now. And then if I just so that's now going forward and that's now going back. So
And it
I'm
kind of
actually
gives you
just
this
gonna
flexibility.
yeah. I'm gonna just save it there, but I have got one that I've
Already
prepared
fine
because I
tuned.
just yeah, I feel like I got one earlier and I was like, yeah, that looks good. But I'm just gonna out of curiosity just see what this does. I also used which I'll show you in a moment on the other one, the harmonized layer because it always works really well with the object. So once your object has been moved, some of the lighting can be a little bit off. So harmonize just harmonizes it to the edit that you've got. Oh
Yep.
yeah,
And
so
you've been
that one.
editing photos kind of since the 2000s, right? That's kind of when you got your
Yeah, I've
first thing.
been yeah,
So you've been
a
you've been
long
working
time.
without Harmonize for a long
Iteration,
time,
yeah,
and now you
yeah,
have
all this
Harmonize
time.
to speed up workflow or
Yeah.
work on things that you might otherwise know how to do on your own,
Yeah,
but it can do a little quicker.
yeah. I mean, this is it. I know how to add shadows. I know I've done this for 20 odd years. Well, I don't know, it might be 15 odd years. Can't remember how old I am. But yeah, so I do know how to do all the shadows and things like that, but harmonize, and then don't get me wrong, I put harmonize on it, which I will do that for this one just whilst I'm talking. Sometimes harmonize doesn't always hit the nail on the head with the shadows, so you do have to go in and sometimes have a little bit of a play around. But it does
Although it
give you
is
an
nice that
idea of
now there
where,
are three different variants. Before, when you first did it, they would only give you one and be like, "This
yes,
is what you get." Now, at least you get three.
yeah,
There's still, sometimes it gets really dark and you have to then adjust it, but you can add adjustment layers to it, or you can
exactly.
redo it, or
And it
whatever.
just gives you an idea because
Gives you an
sometimes when
idea.
I'm shooting in the studio, sometimes I can't really remember whereabouts the light is that I've shot from, or like, so the shadows might be at a certain angle that I can't remember, or I'd like to visualize the shadows. But obviously, this one has just put on like the shadow of the backdrop where the backdrop is, but obviously, the backdrop might be far away. So, yeah, you have to go sometimes back in. But I'm just going to take those off and show you the one that I did earlier. Um, Hang on, so this was the rotate object that I did. You can, my favorite thing, absolutely love this, is you can edit a rotation. So
Okay.
you can have it on, in fact, I'm just going to duplicate that so I don't damage that layer because I do really want to show you this.
So why is this different from what we already looked at?
Say that again, sorry.
So why is this different from with rotation than what we already looked at? Because you
Oh,
said that you
so
really loved this part.
so what I mean is once you've pressed done on a rotation, you can go in and edit it.
Hmm.
So you can literally just click on the edit and go back on that. So it doesn't like create a
It's
new layer.
non-destructive.
Like, yes, it's non-destructive and harmonize. I think harmonize is a non-destructive layer, but you can't edit the harmonization. You have to
Right.
reharmonize.
It's
So
its own
whereas
layer thing.
this, yeah, so this is so literally if I just press cancel, it will cancel back to what that rotation was before, which I've rotated
But you have the
previous.
flexibility to be able to continue
Yes.
to iterate, which is part of
Yeah,
your
so
process.
I'm just gonna show you what, yeah.
That wasn't supposed to be a trick question or anything. That was
No,
just
I
like
was like, do you know what
I was
though? You
like
made me
trying to
think.
figure out. I was gonna be like, oh yeah, oh, really? What's up with that? No, it was more so. It's like, yeah, no, no, we got there. We got there.
We got there. We got there in the end. No, I get that. That's fine. So if I press
It's
cancel on that one,
Kane is also asking about your process here and saying, did you use a single strobe for this particular photograph? Yes. So actually, towards the beginning, we were also looking at her setup with the light as well,
yes.
which is in her Firefly board. But I can also let you speak to that.
I'll just show you actually. Well, just so you know. I'll go back on my big long board. Yes, so this is the lighting setup. So it's literally just one strobe because I've started using with started shooting with continuous light recently because I just find it's a bit easier to control when you're doing stuff like compositing,
Hmm.
like this in the studio. Like the strobe is here, and then I can just keep. Yeah, I just find it's a lot easier at the moment. But I do use flash as well, and
Great
obviously
question, though.
big softbox. But yeah, that
And
is a
thank
good
you for walking
question.
us through that. The lighting is tricky, and I mean, as photographers, I know
Yeah,
that you guys love lighting, but as
yeah,
someone who views lighting as a uh, checkpoint or as a obstacle to get through to the end product for me, it's very much like sound. I'm like light and sound. I'm like, I want to do the graphics, I want to do the visuals, like I want to
yeah,
make this look as best as it can, but there's obviously a
yeah.
science and an art to it, so it's always
Yeah, I
nice
found
to
that
learn about.
I've also found that I gravitate towards just one light, or if I'm shooting with a strobe, I like, well, I've also used continuous for this, but like I like a highlight sometimes like on the hair or on the side of the body, just to like highlight myself from the background. So I've got my sort of setup, and I'm like, that is the one that I use every time,
Yeah.
which is pretty much just one big light in front of me, and is as big as possible. Like I like a lot of light. But yeah, so I pretty much just harmonized this layer, and that's what it came up with. And then I was like, obviously I'm thinking in terms of like if a client was like, I need you to change the direction of that, and I can't go back into the PSD because it might take me too long. Can you do that
Hmm.
within 30 minutes? Then we can do this.
Yeah.
So I generative filled just a little bit of the more of
The pipe.
the pipe, and then I pretty much so put on just some more paint because I was like, and this is literally just me writing the prompt in purple paint to generative fill
With just
with
like the
Firefly.
marquee box selection tool to be able
Yeah,
to
so
say that like
literally
it's just to the
just,
side of you, right?
yeah, so pretty much and then press generative fill and then put purple paint
And
in
then it's
there.
reading the purple paint on the rest of the composition and being able
Yes,
to then um,
yeah. And what I
create
like
from
about
there.
this as well, again, going back to Firefly Boards and what you can use different, so you can use the partner models. So you've got Gemini, Flux Pro, all those, and then you can use obviously the Adobe Firefly Fill and Expand, which is really good for expanding, and then all the image, like the new Image 5 and everything. So that's always good to know because I found that sometimes, yeah,
Different
sometimes I
models
just
are good
go,
at different things.
yeah, and also I end up just like forgetting that bit, and then I'm like, actually, I'm just going to use the other different models and see what comes out
Let's
with.
see what it gets at.
Yeah,
Seeing in
so
the poll, we
yeah.
have 56% of people love it. 31 the color
Oh,
purple, not your
interesting.
piece.
Yeah, no.
Just the idea of the color purple. 56% say love, 31% say like, 12% say indifferent, and 0% say they hate it. So
Oh, that is good
um,
to know.
that's
That
at
is
least a
actually, yeah, I'm
neutral
going to use that
positive.
as my research on
Yeah, this is
my,
some
when I'm, yeah.
case
Can I
studies,
get the poll results
field
after?
research. Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so I just went through each one and just had a play around, removed it from the background again, made a new layer with the selection, and then I rotated it pretty much just with, again, rotate tool. So it's edit. Um, Wait, hang on. Where is it?
Kane is saying that it looks amazing, which,
Ah, thank you.
yeah, thank you for the kind compliments
Yeah, so the
and
rotate
commentary.
object is in the edit bar, which yeah, it's always been there. I don't think it's anywhere else at the moment. So and then because I was thinking it might have been in this bar, but you can edit the rotation
Oh,
in
the
this bar.
contextual
Yeah, the
taskbar.
contextual taskbar. Yeah. So
Yep.
obviously the rotation I edited, it goes into like a pixelated version. You can spin it round. Obviously that's seeing
Oh,
the
even
back
the
of
shadow
this.
on the back.
Yeah, which
It's
is
fun.
cool. You can change perspective. So however you want. I'm just going to press cancel because I already did it and harmonized it. So pretty much just clicked on harmonize, which is next to edit rotation. So it's giving you the step by step really there. So you go in, rotate, and then harmonize. And then, yeah. So that's the harmonize. I'm just going to show you before and after that. So that's before, and then that's after.
That's nice. And
Interesting.
it's
I just
still
found
there.
it
It still
interesting.
feels grounded.
Yeah, it
It
still
still
feels
feels,
part of the image. Like I could have created that like that in
yeah.
the beginning. This one I found interesting as well. So I pretty much did my whole arm. So I just removed the whole selection there, just circled it, removed from the contextual taskbar. Then added in my arm again as a layer. Then I rotated it. So I'm just going to show you the rotation on this one.
Oh,
And
and
I
we
was
got purple
interested to
nails
know,
too, of course.
yeah, exactly. So I was interested to see how this would work out because obviously it's a hand, and I've known and seen a few people try and do people, and it's not quite getting it at the moment, which I'm sure it will do very soon because it's always fast moving. But this one surprised me. So yeah, I just rotated it up, but you can literally just rotate it. Oh, that's what it did with this one. It didn't quite understand what was going on with, is this a
Wait, it
jug?
thinks it's a bra.
It's a Oh yeah.
That's so funny. Or at least like something that looks kind of similar to a bra at the very least.
Or like
Um,
it looks like it's holding a
but
bra up.
yeah, it's like
Oh, it's hilarious.
oh, computers are
Um,
so funny sometimes.
yeah.
um,
So yeah, I pretty much just harmonized that layer. It did give me a bit of a off color, but it was harmonizing to the whole image. So all I did was for this is just colorize it again and brought back my skin tone. And I thought that
nice.
would work really well. And look,
Yeah,
this
there
is
you
the
go.
difference. So
Gives
that
you a
was the
nice little
original.
tan. A nice
Yeah,
little English sunny tan from sunny England.
exactly. Yeah, it's absolutely not sunny right now.
I said that because right before then,
Yeah.
I'm not shaming Franklin. She said it was rainy today. That's all. That's
It's
all.
very rainy.
No shame.
No shame. Always rainy in England. But yeah, so I'm going to just quickly, I know we've not got too much time left. This was just one that I was playing around with.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, I was sort of rotating the object, but it wasn't quite understanding like the differences in like these pipe fittings. Let me just see if I can find. Hang on, let me rasterize.
Also, while you're doing that, I also learned that it was literally illegal to wear purple in Rome because it was so sought after that only the emperor could wear purple, and if you wore it without rank, you could get in a lot of trouble. So there is the term of like born into
Oh,
purple, which means like being born
Yeah.
into like emperor family. So
Well,
it's
yeah.
just so interesting because then like
That is so
later,
interesting. I
like in
love
the late
that.
1800s, it became so accessible to everyone that like a lot of this went away. But it's just like for the longest time, purple was this
This
totally
super,
inaccessible,
yeah.
1% kind of thing.
And which
Which
is
is
funny
interesting.
because from what I've heard, apart from the poll that we're doing, it's a very least liked color. Like a lot of
Hmm.
people don't, from what I've just like gathered, it's not
Yeah,
something that, you know, we don't have purple. Well, maybe people do have purple bedrooms. They do probably have a
they
purple
do.
bedroom.
So
I've got a yellow
maybe.
bedroom, so. But what I mean is, I just feel like the from my research, I've just found that it's not the most popular color, I should say.
Yeah. It's also why it's
Um,
not in a lot
Interesting.
of flags because the dye was expensive back then, and countries obviously have very old
Yes.
flags. So they're
Oh
like, we're not going
yeah.
to put an expensive dye in our flag. Um, so very interesting.
Interesting. But yeah, so with these pipe fittings, it wasn't quite understanding it's
The
squished
full
the
things.
pipe
And
fitting.
not in the same way that like when we did the pipe earlier, when it was having something
Yes.
that was coming out, it really was understanding it. So it can be
Yeah,
from basis to basis,
exactly.
and just still iteration and
Yeah. But
working
I
with what you got.
did hang on, let me just have a look where it is. The let's see, this is where I need to name my layers because I've
Oh
lost
yeah.
it.
Now
But
have
I'll
you
do
have you
that.
experimented at all with the little broom right there?
Yeah, so that is what I was going to come on to next because I actually need to find this little jug. Where is it? So I'm going to do this now. So little broom
You know what I did
here.
learn though? Oh wait a second. Actually, there's two things here. We'll go into that
Yeah, go
because
for
that
it.
is very very. But also, if you're looking for the jug, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it
if
might be
you
called
go
jug.
and you option click it, or right click it in any way because what you're on Mac,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Um, there should be a
Let
way that you can
me.
pop it up, and I learned this through like a thing. Maybe it's because it still has you in that layer. Maybe it's control
Yeah.
something. A way
Control.
of
I'm
where
just
you would
pressing them
essentially
all.
right click it. There you go. That oh right
Oh,
there. You see all of
huh?
the layers that you are directly under. So any
Yes.
of those are ones that could be there. So obviously that's selective color, but maybe if it's something that
Is it
is,
harmonized? I might have harmonized
that'll
it. I
pull.
think it
Yes,
is.
that it is. That's what it is because I can see the
That is
top
the
right of it.
one. Yeah, that is the one.
But isn't that so useful? I didn't know
But
that was a
then
thing
that
until
is so
last
useful.
week.
I
I
did
felt
not
so
know.
silly.
See, we're learning new things every day. We've been
Yeah,
using this
yeah,
for
yeah.
20 years.
And
Um,
Cody says that she likes certain types of purples like plum or lavender, but she's not a fan of true purple, which I don't know what
yes,
true
that's what
purple
I've heard
is.
as well. There's like a nice like a lilac is always really nice. I maybe think this is more true purple, like a rich dark purple. But
I'm
yeah,
Googling true purple.
so this is just quickly before I move on to the next thing because I really want to talk about the layer.
Hmm.
Um, but this is the I did actually rotate this jug, and I found it very interesting. This actually nailed it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, it got the opening.
yes, it got the opening and it harmonized it really well. But I just thought it's got the whole colors really well.
The
Um,
lighting, the
yeah, then
shadows.
it harmonized. Sorry, it created this, which is a bit more smooth than the jug that I actually used originally,
Hmm.
which was interesting. But yeah, this is the 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 position that I wanted anyway in the end. But yeah, I'm just going to go on to well, not old, some of my previous work, and just
Oh,
show you how
I
I.
also deviated you away from the little broom though. Do you want to do that
Oh
really quick
yes,
before we
no,
move
yeah, we
on?
can do it on here. We
Because
can
that's
do it
more
on
cool.
this
Okay,
one.
cool.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So let me actually click on one because I think I might have.
Oh, I've never seen that one before. Or this one. Oh, I haven't seen a few of these. These are really cool.
Yeah, so these are the ones that I'm just gonna. So these are original pictures that I used for like a red study when I was doing my red project, and I was gonna just show you how I twisted them in rotate object. But
Hmm.
before I do that,
Oh,
these are
that's
just a
great.
few that
Oh, that's
so
one of my
these are a
favorites.
few that are, thank you. It's true fair, I think that's one of my favorites. Um, so in fact, let's go on this layer. I think some of this is actually named, but hang on, let me just pull up. So layer cleanup has been actually life-changing for me because I think again, like I said at the beginning about my Firefly board being all over the place, and I know creatives are all over the place, or some aren't. Some like to be organised. I like to be organised after the fact. So when I'm editing, I will put add layer, add layer, add layer, add layer, and then I'm like, oh no, where's that layer? Whereas really I should add it, like edit it as I go along. So this has been helpful because it's not necessarily getting it to the layers that I like to see after. Like I will go through and like color code it and everything, but it's
Hmm.
just showing you a snapshot of what the layer is named and what's on the layer. So you go to the little broom at the bottom and then click on it. And I love that it's a broom. That is like my favorite thing.
It's cute.
Yeah, and then you can also delete empty layers. So I always accumulate so many empty layers and I never know which is the empty layer because sometimes I'm editing something and it's tiny
Yep.
or like there's like a little tiny bit and I'm like, is that got I can't see, I can't tell, turning it on and off, like with a little eye, and I'm like, oh, is there anything happening? So I love that you can just delete the empty layers. And also it renames all the layers and you can do the entire document. So as you're going through this, so if I just click apply, it will describe and give you the name of things that are on that layer. So if I go to this layer, that's a red bottle with ball. Amazing, because it was called background copy one before.
And now it actually has
And
something
now
that
it's
is
actually
actually English
describing.
that can actually
Yes.
understand.
So now I don't necessarily use it to be a miraculous organizational tool, as in at the very end when I go through and do a lot of like color coding, because I do like to color code after, because then if I ever need to go back to that image in the future to find something really quickly, then like I can go back to like the layer that says background or like layer that says color
Now,
or
can I
whatever
show
prompt.
you
Yeah, go for it.
one setting that might
Yeah.
also help with your empty layers that's even outside of having to use cleanup? So
Okay, yeah,
if you go to
cool.
your layers panel, you know where it
Yeah.
says layers, channels, and paths?
Yes.
There's a hamburger
There's,
menu on the far right there.
yeah.
If you go over here and then you go to panel options, which is three from the bottom,
Panel options.
right there, there is the thumbnail contents. And one, you can make them bigger so you can see it, but then also you can change. Right now you have it set to entire document, which means that it's going to show you a thumbnail of the entire document, where if you hit layer bounds and then you press OK, you'll see that
I've
it's
made
going
them
to
big. Ah!
change to actually show
I
you what
should
is
have
of the
known this.
contents.
I should have known this.
Um, which, like, this is something that I turn on and off, honestly, because
Yeah, because
sometimes it
sometimes I feel like
is
that's overwhelming me a little
it's
bit.
overwhelming, and sometimes it's like context is like I need to know where it lays within the composition.
Whereabouts it is in the image, yeah. I think that's
Um,
probably why I've not actually changed anything like that because I'm just going to change that to a smaller one. But yeah, like I don't know where this bottle is, whereas sometimes you can see the look like where the bottle is in the image. But that is
exactly.
actually so handy to know. I don't know
And
why
so
I didn't
yeah,
know
that
that.
just go. If you want to switch it
Sometimes you
back,
just
yeah,
get
just go right to the panel
no,
options and then change
love
it to
that.
entire canvas.
Um,
So
I'll do it for now, but I'm gonna actually remember that
yeah, just
because
something to help out a little bit.
yeah. So I love that
We
they've
have
just put
only a
these
few
about.
minutes left here,
Yeah. Oh,
but
hang
we've
on.
looked through a bunch of really cool stuff. We've looked through Firefly
Yeah.
Boards, we've looked through Rotate Objects, we
I
looked through your process,
just
we looked through
wanted
some
to go on a
photography.
few. Yeah. I just wanted to go on a couple more of rotate objects because
Yeah,
I've just been loving
absolutely.
it. So this one was actually so interesting. So this I actually, hang on, where is it? That one? Pretty much just this was before. That's the actual image that I shot, and then I changed it because I was like, oh, that's a bit small now. Maybe I would have made it a bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, rotated the object, harmonized it. Looks like I'd edited it like that in the first place. I was like, whoa.
Brilliant.
And it actually rendered it exactly how I needed it to.
And what I
There
love
might be,
about this piece is that it feels kind of violent, but it also feels very comforting. So it's like you have the
yeah,
softness of the textures of the blankets and also kind of you like being having a cozy day, but then it also kind of
yeah,
feels like someone shot you with
creepy.
yarn needles.
Yeah,
And then you have the
that's
one
kind of
eye
like the
open.
vibe. Yeah, that is like how I envisioned this to
I think
be.
that's why it's my
In
favorite.
fact, you've actually hit the nail on the head with how I wanted that to come across. So thanks.
Mm,
Um, I did that with a couple of like the poppies. So I added in some more poppies with rotate. Again, you can edit the rotation. Oh, I'll just take the harmonize
oh,
layer off because that was so yeah,
lovely.
you can rotate like this.
And has the shine as you
Interesting.
move it, which is cool.
Yeah. And then obviously the harmonize will add it in. You can obviously edit the harmonize. And then florals. I just wanted to show you florals because I think that is like my favorite thing to do. I love shooting with florals. But with this one, I'll just add in what I actually created
Oh, nice.
with all these layers. I added in so much more and I was like, that looks so much better. And this image is in front, I think from like 2019. So I'm like,
Yeah.
should have had this tool in 2019.
I mean, you can say that about so much, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so I've been proper loving just having um
Also, I love this comment from Cody. She's talking about that piece with the
looks like
blanket. So it looks
spaghetti
like spaghetti and
meatballs.
meatballs, which is
Yeah.
so funny. Now that I see it, I can't unsee it.
It
But I
does.
love it even more.
Yeah. That's actually
It can
so
be so
interesting. I
many
love that.
things.
But yeah, the flowers, and if I'll just rename this to see what, because I've actually named the layers. Ah, so it does. So I actually named the layers the name of the flowers. This was
Mm-hmm.
previously.
Got it.
So it just changes them to a description of it. So it won't actually keep. But I've actually,
Yep.
obviously, when I've
But up
clicked
there
on
it
it, I've put
says some knit
entire
layer names are
documents.
already up to date. Those layers are skipped. So it's also
Yes.
looking at what you already have there and it's being able to be like, oh, yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. We don't want to adjust that and change it. So it's not going to overwrite the work that you've already made. So it's not going to just
exactly.
blanketly cover
And
everything.
you can select the layers that you want to rename as well,
Yeah.
by clicking on it and clicking on an entire document. But yeah, it really, I think Rotate Object really handles um, flowers really well. So
Yeah.
look at that, love
I mean, because
it.
it has a lot of source material, right? It's able to understand flowers and
Yeah, and obviously
it's
this is
working off of
my
different
original. Hang on, if I just click off that, this is the original image that I created. But I thought I'm just going to add in some of the objects back just to
little
see.
snail. Love it.
Yeah, these are all little generated animals,
Very cute. All right.
bugs.
Well, that unfortunately puts us at about time. So I am going to go ahead. I'm going to end this poll. And as far as the
Yes,
poll goes, with 19 votes total, thank you guys. We have 5% hate, 11% indifferent,
5%. Oh,
37% like, and 47% love. And this is how you feel about the color purple. Not the book or the movie or anything. We're just talking about the
yeah,
actual hex
actual.
purple. Now, the reason we are asking that question is because we were joined by Holly Rose Stones, and she's a fantastic photographer and photo compositor.
Thank
She's
you.
working on her color pieces of all the different colors with self portraiture. For anyone that wants to find your work online, whether it's your website or your Instagram, where would be the best place to find that?
It's just Holly Rose Stones, my name on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
So make sure you give her a follow. If you liked this stream, you want to see more, we've streamed with her several times before. Certainly won't be
Yes.
the last time. It is always such a
Yeah,
pleasure
love
to
to do
have you on the
that.
show.
Thank you so much for having
Um,
me again.
yeah, absolutely. Coming up next, we have a really great show with mixed media illustration techniques, and that's with Ellie Rice and
I'll be
Jack
watching.
Watson, who was also in the chat at one point. If you're here live, it will automatically push you over here. If you're watching the replay, go check it out or check out many of our other resources here on Adobe Live. Thank you to Cody Bear for moderating, and thank you to Kane, Dino, and Voodoo Guy for all saying hello in the chat. It's great to have you here. If you guys were lurking, we're also very happy to have you here as well. I'm Ryan
Thank
Selvey.
you.
Thank you again, Holly,
Thank you so much.
and have a great rest of your day.
See you
Bye,
later.
guys.
Bye.